What does it take to achieve a more natural sound the next time that you speak in American English? What are some of the things you're doing that people aren't telling you that is actually making you sound less natural? Well, today we're going to be exploring some of those things, and some of it may be involving your vowel sounds, and some of it may be involving your pitch, and a couple other things as well. Let's get into it a little bit. Excuse me. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Schwa Mill. This is your American English pronunciation review show where people send us files and we listen to them and give some feedback for how they could sound even more natural in American English. And to guide you in this process, there is me. Hi, my name is Geoff. It rhymes with breath. That is one of the four keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds, nor strengthen your vowel sounds. I have two more files for us to wrap up the week with. Thank you to everyone who's been sending us files. If you would like to have your own pronunciation reviewed to get an idea of some things that would help you achieve a more natural sound in American English, you can see a link in the video description to a Telegram group that is free where people send us files, and I select two of them for each stream. So I'd encourage you to check that out. All of that said, let's begin with our first file for today.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
Okay, play it one more time.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
Okay, and as always, thank you to everyone who's been sending us files. So as I'm listening to this first of all sounds very, very fluid. Things are really running together, which is something that we need in American English. I'll play it one more time.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
And the way that we're able to achieve that kind of fluent sound is just, again, going from vowel to vowel, lots of breath. Now, there is a danger with this. As we rely more on our vowel sounds, as we keep the breath flowing from sound to sound, we can lose some of the shape of our words. And so this is where all those elements of contrast become very important. Things like pitch, things like speed, things like firmness, softness. There's a couple of moments here where if I were the listener and you caught me on the street, I would potentially have a hard time keeping up. It may need you to repeat yourself. Let's try to figure out why that's happening.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
There's a couple of key words here to start with. There's the word versus in the beginning. There is also, there's the word boundary that I would like to talk about as well. And there was one other word too that's going to help us out.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
Okay. I think some sounds that would be good for review to start us off would be B's and V sounds, because these are some sounds where we're getting real soft on our consonant. Okay. This audio file opens up. I'm going to put the text for this file. This may help people following along if you're watching the video. Okay. So I put the text in the chat. This is what is being said. What we're seeing here is that our V's and our B's, first of all, are very, very soft. It's like versus becomes like versus responding. Boundary becomes like boundary, and like having becomes like having. So like we're just real soft on our B's and our V's. And normally, again, that tends to be an area where a lot of people tend to go too firm on. So I think this is actually a place where we actually need to go firmer in this case to give our words more shape. To give one example, let's look at verses in the beginning.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded.
Like versus responding, versus responding. I also want to hear the word boundary. Notice what's happening with this word.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what.
Hear that? Having a boundary versus like having a boundary, just a little clearer on the B. Some other things that are going to help out with this file. There's a couple sequences where we have some syllables that are kind of running together. And we want to try to give them a little bit more space and shape.
Versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
It's like by having a boundary, by having a boundary. I think if you um respond in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary. So notice what's happening the way I'm saying it there by having a boundary, because it sounds like originally we're saying like having a boundary. So that's very flat. We were getting a lot of similar pitches running up against each other. And from a listener's perspective, that's going to be hard for me to keep separation between the words. And so to minimize that, let's increase the pitch ranges, like having a boundary versus having a boundary versus having a boundary. So notice that I'm just like moving down. If the stress is really on boundary and not on having, then you could say by having a boundary, by having a boundary, or by having a boundary, or by having a boundary, things like that. So we need a little bit more pitch movement, because otherwise you're going to have these sequences where all of our words are just kind of running together, and that's going to make it a little challenging from a listener's perspective. So just other sequences like that as well.
First, responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having a boundary on what's important to you.
I really like the what's important to you. That movement is very natural in American English. That part is super clear. No, I mean super clear, but I think it's also very natural sounding. I want to make sure that we're getting enough of that kind of pitch movement, vowel movement, and things like that in the other sections. My final comment for this um, is when I'm looking at this, like responding in a way that I would go to like Youglish.com and look up phrases that have like in a way that. So again, go to Youglish.com and type in the phrase in a way that, and see if you can find some more models of native speakers saying that, because this pattern to me sounds a little bit off. The stress on way is throwing me off. That music doesn't sound as much like English to me.
First, responding in a way that keeps you grounded by having
Like first respond in a way that keeps you grounded. That to me doesn't really sound like the music of English. Um, I could see like versus responding in a way that keeps you grounded, or like responding in a way that keeps you grounded. Like um, I don't imagine like a super high pitch shift on way like that and way getting that much stress. That to me feels a little bit off. So I would check that and see some other models, and that may guide us. Okay. But thank you for sending the audio file. I hope those tips help. Just add a little bit more pitch contrast, especially in that first half, and that's going to be very, very helpful. Okay. But good stuff. Really like the end there. Let's play our second file of the day. Oh, actually, before we do that, just a quick highlight. I want to highlight a feature that YouTube has. It's called the YouTube channel memberships. And you may be like, why would I ever join a channel? What's the point? Well, for us, I can't speak for other channels, but for us, when we have people who join our channel membership program, what they get is this. You get access to seeing all of our live group coaching classes, and you also get to watch all the previous ones as well. These classes are held from, for instance, on Friday, we're going to have class from 10 to 10:40 and then 11 to 11:30. But Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we have class from 9 to 9:30, 10 to 10:40, and 11 to 11:30, and then 9 to 9:30 p.m., give or take. You can verify with the schedule on screen. That'll be more accurate. But basically, hey, we're having group classes 10, 12 times a week. And as a group, as a channel member, you would get access to watch all of those live with us. You can type us questions in the chat and things like that. So it's a way to get all the access to the information that I give all my small group coaching students at a very big discount, because you're just participating live and watching live with us through YouTube. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, please check out the YouTube channel memberships. You can see a join button below on the bottom left if you're watching on YouTube, or you can go to youtube.com/FluentAmerican and press the join button there. All right, let us take a look at our second file for today.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long time.
Okay, and thanks as always to everyone sending us files. Let's play this one more time.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long time.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about pitch, which is great. And I can hear pitch movement inside of thought groups. If you don't know what the thought groups are basically small groups of words that go together before your next group of words. Every language we're talking in thought groups. Okay. This is especially important in American English, though, because in general, when we change thought groups, these are opportunities to introduce some major changes with regards, for instance, like pitch or rhythm and things like that. So when I listen to this audio file,
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long time.
what I'm hearing is there's a lot of movement inside the thought group pitch-wise, which is good. I'll play the first part, for example.
If it looks easy now, that means
If it looks easy now, I mean, you could even drag down the middle part more, like if it looks easy now, if it looks easy now, you know. But the general progression is we're going to descend, we're going to go down, 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 down till we get to our stress, and we'll go up. That's a common pattern. You can hear it in the second part as well.
if it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long
Like that means it was hard. Okay. So we're seeing inside of the thought group some pitch movement. I think the biggest thing that I would identify is that as we're transitioning from one thought group to the next, we're kind of getting stuck. So where we're ending a thought group is similar to where we're starting the next. So that's kind of limiting our ability to access the wider pitch range that we need to sound more natural in American English.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard.
One example of that, and one way you can test yourself, is see where one of your thought groups ends. So he has a thought group that ends on now. He has a new thought group that starts on that. And if the pitch is the same as you make that transition, that's a problem.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard.
Yep. Now, that, versus now, that means. If it looks easy now, that means. You see that now we have greater transition pitch-wise. We can see this also as we transition maybe from our second to our third.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long time.
Means it was, means it was, means it was, means, like means it was hard. That means it was hard. Now we just added some pitch contrast.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long time.
Hard for, hard for, hard for. Like, yeah, some movement, but can we get more like hard for a long time? That means it was hard for a long time versus hard for a long time. That is just going to kind of run together. The pitches don't have enough separation. So that's probably my biggest comment for this is that we need, as we transition from one thought group to the next, we need a wider pitch range. We need to make sure that, hey, new thought group, new pitch, new thought group, new pitch.
If it looks easy now, that means it was hard for a long time.
That I think is going to be the comment that's going to have the greatest impact on this audio file. Okay. As always, try to keep the placement down and things like that. But the general thing I would focus on for this is the pitch. All right, guys. Thank you again to everyone who's been sending us audio files. Again, if you would like to have your own pronunciation reviewed in the future, you can take a look at the video description and see the link to join the Telegram group where people send us files for free. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Look, there's a lot of pronunciation resources out there. I am very much aware of that. So the fact that you are here with me is greatly appreciated. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope you have a good day. Have a good night. Good afternoon. We'll be back on Monday with another edition of The Schwa Mill. Take care, guys.